What's going on, folks? Welcome to another episode of our NFL preseason breakdowns. With me tonight, I got C. So what's
What's
going
going
on?
on, everybody?
Didn't expect to have him for the NFC North, but had to use him for the NFC North, and he's happy.
Had to do it to him.
Exactly. And if you notice, we both got matching long hair today.
Absolutely.
Exactly. You know, they call us twins in the streets. I don't think you heard me. Yeah, I don't think you heard me. Oh my gosh. Okay. Uh, but let's go ahead and get started with it. First team up on the list for the NFC North, the Minnesota Vikings. Oh man, I thought that picture was going to come out a lot better. But yeah, Minnesota Vikings. So so this past offseason, they added Lewis Sign, Jonathan Bullard, Albert Wilson. They lost Michael Pierce. And then their key games this season include a road trip to Philly, a road trip to the Superdome to play the Saints, a trip down to Miami, a trip to Buffalo, and then they get the Packers, as you know, on the road and at home, as well too. Oh my goodness, if I can find it, the NFC North 2021 standings. They were second place last year with an 8-9 record. So go ahead, jump right into it. See,
I also believe they got Jordan Hicks from Arizona, who used to be, I think it was like the Eagles a long time ago, but that's a pretty good addition too for the linebacker corps they have. But overall, it's a pretty average depth chart when you look at it. I like the quarterback Kirk Cousins. People talk about him all the time. I think he's all right. He gets the job done. He's not going to be some mobile superstar or anything, but he is a guy who will chuck it downfield, and I like that what he does with Justin Jefferson and makes him one of the best fantasy targets around. Adam Thielen obviously is really good, and we like the emergence of KJ Osborne and also Emer. I don't know if I said that right. Smith Marset. That's the wide receiver four who sometimes plays and sometimes is pretty good. I've seen him get touchdowns before. But
Mhm.
also one thing we have to note is Irv Smith is going to be back and he's going to be in like
Yes,
full health, so that's going to be good for them.
yes. I was gonna say we didn't even mention Dalvin Cook either in that offense.
Yeah, I was just talking about the wide receivers there. Dalvin Cook, obviously one of the best top three running backs in the NFL.
And I love how you said that about Kirk Cousins, and then lo and behold, this one popped up right here. So explain it. Why should I believe in Kirk Cousins? Because it's hard for me to get on board.
Well, Kirk Cousins has always been pretty good to me ever since he beat the Buccaneers as a Washington Redskins coming back. Man, I had to start respecting him then. But I mean, obviously, sometimes he has bad games, interceptions, and that happens for quarterbacks in this league. And like I say, he's not going to be a superstar, but he does. He's been around. He knows he has the awareness, and he's going to make the right decision most of the time. And that's what I like about him. And like I said, he'll chuck it downfield.
I feel you. I feel you. Uh,
He is probably, yeah, he definitely is the second best quarterback in this division, obviously.
yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, I had to think about that for a second, but I was like, yeah, you're right. You're right. So now about Justin Jefferson. Do you think that he could possibly be the offensive player of the year?
Absolutely. I think the sky is the limit for Justin Jefferson, and he's just going to get better. Obviously, this was like year three, I believe, last year, maybe even year two. So,
This is year three.
yeah, year three, man. He's going to hopefully get a little bit faster, a little bit quicker up the routes and stuff, and I expect him to be a top three wideout.
I can get with that. I can get with that. I think, and this is where the LSU connection comes into play. I think him seeing the success of Jamar Chase
Absolutely.
is going to make him want to be an even better version of himself coming this season.
That's very true. Now, you won't hear me say this a lot because I'm an Alabama fan, but I do respect these guys out of LSU, and these guys are a problem. And Alabama has their wide receivers themselves that are good, but these LSU guys are a little bit different, and that's why I'm so high on Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson.
Oh yeah, most definitely. You know, it's that I hate to do this to you, but it's a different type of vibe and a different type of swagger that LSU guys step with versus Alabama
Yeah,
guys.
man. They
But
got the wide receivers. That's all they got, though.
they do. And honestly, I mean, Alabama's got the championship, LSU's got the swag. So I mean, I guess you can decide which one you'd rather have.
Absolutely. And let's jump into the defense real quick. They also got Harrison Phillips, who I think used to be on the Bills.
Mhm.
Danielle, I don't know if I said that right, but he should
Danielle
be back in full health. He's
Danielle
going to be good. And they need to use their last couple years of prime from him, Patrick Peterson, and Harrison Smith. Patrick
Yes.
Peterson's already starting to get a little bit washed up, but he still got it.
I think that's the one element we're starting to lose sight of here is Patrick Peterson and how he's going to basically be the leader in that secondary. I don't know if they still have Harrison Smith. Do they still have Harrison Smith? I think they do.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They also drafted Andrew Booth from Clemson. That might be his eventual successor, who he can teach up a little bit.
Yeah. See, so I mean, I like their secondary and the moves they made. This is why I asked. Here's why there's this question here. They got the pieces.
They absolutely could sneak into the playoffs. They play the Bears and the Lions twice this year, so anything could happen. But I do like the squad. I don't see it being anything more than a wild card team, though.
Oh, I agree with you. I think we already know who's at the top of the food chain in this division, honestly.
So for my record prediction, I'm gonna go with
They went 8-9 last year.
They went 8-9 last year?
Yes.
Wow.
And
I was gonna say 9-8 or even 10-7 as Justin Jefferson might get some game winner, steal a game from someone, just chuck it deep. But I'm gonna go 9-8.
Okay, so they go one game better. They flip the win and loss record.
And maybe get the wild card.
Okay, I can understand that. I feel that.
What do you think?
I was gonna say about the same, honestly, about 9-8, or maybe look, you had the Packers went 13-4. I think that the race is going to be a lot closer this year than a lot of people are expecting because I think Green Bay might take a step back a little bit,
and maybe they could win a game against Green Bay. Who knows?
Oh yeah, most definitely. And then, like I said, I'm expecting them to sneak in the playoffs as a wild card team. I expect it, but I think they may split with Green Bay. I think when Green Bay goes to Minnesota will get them. But when they go to the Tundra,
yeah,
we can take that. But I don't think Justin Fields and company. I'll talk about it when I get to it.
They'll be in the running for sure.
Yeah, and that takes us now to the Detroit Lions. So last year, this team was the second worst team in football. They went 3-13, and one tie actually, which is quite pitiful for the one team that tied the damn. Yeah, it's quite pitiful that the team that tied these guys. Their key games include the Matt Patricia Bowl at the Patriots, at the Cowboys, versus the Packers, and on the road against the Packers. They get the Bills and the Jaguars. Ooh, that's actually an interesting game. It sucks, but it's a really good game.
Yeah.
So I don't know. They added Devin Funchess, who I'm surprised he's still in the league. They added Mike Hughes. They added DJ Chark Jr. So that wide receiver room's looking pretty good. They lost Trey Flowers, though, and they lost Geronimo Allison, and they also lost Nickel Roby-Coleman. Jeez, he fell far from grace.
Yeah, I agree. I do like the offense. It's underrated, that's for sure. Jared Goff isn't the best, like we said, but he can have his moments, and he's a solid starting quarterback for DeAndre Swift because he likes to dump it to him. Mm-hmm. And Amon-Ra should only be getting better from here. DJ could be a bounce back year for him. He kind of wants to be a comeback type player of the year thing. Mm-hmm. I know that's heavy, but he could do it. Jameson Williams, obviously a good player. And then TJ Hawkinson is one of my favorite tight ends in the game, along with Frank Ragnow as the center. Very good. So I do like those main core pieces there.
Look, honestly, and then, the addition and the drafting of Aiden Hutchinson, I don't know if you mentioned, I can't remember if you mentioned that or not, but I think that's going to have a large say. I think now we're going to finally see Detroit realize that, like, hey, you know what, we've been bad for so long. It might be time to actually give this winning thing a try. But I think they're just so overwhelmed. They need to first. I hate it's going to sound like a cliche, but they need to first believe it. And I think
And
this.
that all comes with Dan Campbell. And we know Dan Campbell was a very emotional, passionate coach, and that's definitely what they want. And it's going to take some kind of coaching staff like that. I do like their offense, like I said, but their defense is very questionable. And I'm not sure if Campbell is more offensive or more defensive, but the defense needs to get addressed. So if they need to have that gritty, punch you in the mouth kind of smash mouth football, even though that's offense side, but still.
Yeah, it's. I think honestly with Dan Campbell, it could be a situation where he lights the fire, but then someone else runs with it to lead them out of this hole that they're in. That's usually how it does happen sometimes. Where like one coach may bring in all these key pieces and stuff, and then another one takes up the mantle and takes it further than that coach could, but manages it better, I guess.
I also think this team is kind of like one injury away from kind of being a rebuild a rebuild year because they don't have much depth other than really running back. That's their only depth, and you can say wide receiver as well. But
I,
like, if anything, like went down on defense, next man up mentality, obviously. But I already said they don't look too strong on the defensive side.
I agree. Now, how you feel about this right here? Will Aiden Hutchinson win the Offensive Rookie of the Year? Or no, my bad.
Defense.
Not. Oh my goodness, not Offensive Rookie of the Year. That's all wrong.
Will Aiden Hutchinson win Defensive Rookie of the Year? No, but he'll be in the running. That's my prediction. I think he'll be at least top 5, but it's gonna be hard to get a lot of work done when you have like not a lot of superstars on the defensive line with you. Like if he had Trey Flowers, that might help, but I don't know
Hmm.
if he could do it all himself.
He can't. It's gonna probably end up being like a JJ Watt situation where he's gonna probably be in this one place forever, and be
Uh,
like, you know what, I'd like to go win a ring, and he'll get the Stafford treatment, and he'll probably get out and go get a ring somewhere else in due time.
yeah, he'll be in the running, but I don't see him being the one to win it.
I feel you. I feel you. Now, be real with me here. Do you think that there's hope somewhere, or do you think that this team is still staring into that endless abyss?
Their hope solely lies into DeAndre Swift and Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jamison Williams, TJ, Frank, and Aiden. That's about it. That's their core, and they're going to. Oh, actually, Penn will as well, but they're going to ride with it. And I think it's going to take some time, but I think eventually they're all going to get right.
I
Maybe
feel
not this year, maybe not next year, but soon.
I feel you. So go ahead, drop your record prediction for these guys for me.
I'll say 5-12.
Mm, that's generous. That's
Yeah.
generous. Being nice. you know what?
Were they a 4-win team last year?
They were 3-3, 13-1.
Ooh.
So you
Yeah, that is generous. I would say 4, but I'll be bold and say 5.
okay. I can get with it.
Yeah.
I can get with it. If you look at again the key games and stuff, I mean, I think if you're gonna step up and win 5 games and lose 12, Jacksonville has to be a win. That's
Yep.
all I'm gonna say. And now we can swing finally to not the Green Bay Packers, the Chicago Bears. Ooh, let me not make that mistake. So they added and drafted HBC product from Southern University, Jatiri Carter, Equinemius St. Brown, Al-Quadin Muhammad is another addition. They lost Nick Foles, Danny Trevathan, Tariq Cohen, Eddie Goldman, and they lost Akeem Hicks.
Wow.
They lost a lot, man.
On the D line too.
And I don't know if you saw the Tariq Cohen video. It was nasty.
Yeah, it was. I know it was nasty, but I didn't watch it. But they have Robert Quinn still on the D line, who actually had one of his best years ever last year.
Mm.
And they follow that up by giving him no one to join him.
Yeah, no, the dude's terrible. It's I truly do feel bad for Justin Fields.
The
Like
O
this,
line doesn't look as good either, man.
I know, like it's just so now it's kind of hard for me to say what do I expect in year two of Fields because now it's like you did nothing to help him really.
Yeah, absolutely. You gotta like drafting of Velus Jones. He's actually pretty good. He wasn't the best wide receiver, but he is one of the good wide receivers in this deep class. So at least they did that for him. But that's really all they did for him.
Yeah, see, I'd have told the front office, I'd have been like, look, you got to put some beef in front of me, man, to protect me.
Absolutely.
You have
And Cody Whitehair is a good guard, but Willie Wright, I've never heard of, and I've been looking at the Bears. I seen the Bears last year. I didn't see that guy, so he must be new. Larry Borum, that's their right tackle. Yeah, it's kind of a newbie offensive line, so that's going to be a question mark for Justin Fields, which makes me feel like Justin Fields might be the same exact thing as last year. And we saw how stagnant the Bears offense was. It was really, really inconsistent, and they had their prime times games where they just like laid an egg. So what is what can we expect, man?
I don't even know, man.
I hate to be so down on the Bears fans because I liked some of their draft, like I said, Velus Jones, Jaquan Brisker, but their O line is questionable, and I think that's the make or break of a team, and also the D line, like I said.
You know what? I'm gonna wow you when I give my final way of how I think this is gonna shake out at the end. I'm gonna wow you. Uh, but that takes us now to Green Bay, to the frozen tundra, the Packers. So, as you know, they added and drafted Christian Watson, Hillsborough County product. Sammy Watkins, Quay Walker, and Devontae Wyatt are both on the team. They lost Zadarius Smith and Devontae Adams.
Yes, and they replaced that with Romeo Dubes, and Samori Torre. Those are young wide receivers from the draft. They were kind of like at the lower end, yeah, round 7, round like 5 and stuff, but they're still younger players to join Amari Rogers and Christian Watson, Alan Lazard. It's kind of a younger corpse there alongside Randall Cobb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's to me. I'm just like I I understand the move that was made here, but at the same time too, I it's after what I saw last year in the divisional round, it's just like, and then the loss of Devonte Adams and stuff. You know, uh, I think that they will take a step back. They're going to probably still win their division, but I think they're going to take
Yeah.
a step back.
Now I look at this depth chart, and really, wide receiver is their worst position, and it's not like terrible, but it is like their worst position. I think Alan Lazard might be Aaron Rodgers' main target. He might be a slept on fantasy option if you're able to grab him.
Oh
But
yeah,
I like their defense a lot. They drafted Quay Walker, and they have Eric Stokes already, and then Rashawn Gary, he's been coming into his own. Devondre Campbell, all pro last year. Jerron Reed from Alabama, Kenny Clark. This is a good defensive team.
oh yeah, most definitely. It's just, see the thing that Aaron Rodgers has to follow through, and I think it's going to determine a lot of how fast, and it's going to ask a lot of him. But how fast can Christian Watson mature? You know,
Absolutely, that is a young guy, but he's going to be thrown right into this, being in Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers' target. It's going to be exciting to see, but I'm not expecting him to be the number one option anytime this season.
oh yeah, me neither. Me neither. Like I'm like you. I think it's Alan Lazard. Um, but I think we should know too. You never want to count Aaron Rodgers out either. I think he's gonna still make a play here and take the Packers far and into the play. Because right when because now we're thinking like, okay, they're probably gonna take a step back. They're gonna do something to wow us and make us be like, oh my gosh, they could end up in the Super Bowl. They always do this. They've been doing this since. Trust me, they've been doing this since Brett Favre.
Absolutely. It's hard to predict for them. You know they're going to be good, but you just don't know how good they'll be.
Exactly, exactly. But yeah, how I think we already said it though. How much do you think they'll miss Devonte Adams?
Well, Devontae Adams is going to be sorely missed because that was like their everyday just throw. They probably had at least 15 targets a game. That's probably not actually accurate, but around there. And at least they still have Robert Tunyon and Josiah DeGuara, good red zone targets, but they're going to need to replace their red zone targets.
Right. I agree with that. I agree. So their key games this season include a Sunday game against the Bucks, a home game against the Patriots. They got to go to Buffalo and play the Bills. They get the Cowboys at home and they get the Rams at home. So it's outside of their division. That's pretty grueling.
Yep, that is a pretty good schedule. Also, I forgot to mention earlier, Devontae Wyatt. That's also a good signing by them. But I like the defense, like I said, and it's gonna help them go far. And they also have some depth, which I mentioned earlier is key. So I see this team being just as good as last year, at least. And I'm gonna go 13-4 again.
Okay. Okay. You know what? I think they're gonna be a game worse. I'm gonna go 12-5.
Fair enough.
And then I think the Vikings finish in second, but I think the Vikings go 9-8. I think they get the wild card spot. And then I think the Lions are going to finish in third ahead of the Bears this year. I think the Bears are going to finish in last.
Yeah, Bears are gonna be 4 wins at least.
Because the Bears also lost Khalil Mack.
Yeah, they still suffer from that.
Yeah, so I think that's how I think it's going to shake out. And I think some heads are going to roll in Chicago because of that. So yeah, I'm going to stick with it. I believe as much as I just said the Lions are going to be in the abyss and everything, I think the Lions are not going to finish in last. I'm going to put my faith in them.
We have more faith in the Lions here at Penalty Talk over the Bears, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, most definitely. But folks, that's going to do it for us. I like when I come on here with C because he gets straight to the point, get us in and he get us out.
Yes, sir. Good to be here for sure.
Exactly. We appreciate it, man. As always, we wish you all well. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. Look at all the outlets coming across on the bottom ticker and stuff. Make sure you follow us on all of our social media platforms. Anything else before we get out of here, Chad? We got time.
I'm gonna do some crazy hot take. I'm gonna say the Lions beat the Packers once. That's their one game I give them, the 4-5. They beat the Packers once.
Look, every now
one of those crazy games. It's the NFL, baby.
Every now and again, there's a game in the NFL where a team you just go like, how in the world did they win that? And then they win it.
Jaguars beat the Colts to take them out of the playoffs last year. It can happen.
Exactly. Hey, look, every now and again, a blind squirrel finds a nut.
And we'll love that.
Exactly.
It's fun to watch.
Him. Well, folks, that's going to do it for us. We hope y'all have enjoyed. Stay safe. Stay blessed. See you on the next